رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the basic Arabic course. In this course, we will go through how to read and write Arabic and look at some of the basic ruling of learning the Arabic language. And this will help us, inshallah, read um, the Arabic letters and learn to recognize the Arabic ruling in order to go on to read the Quran and Qaida, inshallah. For this course, you will have the material that's shared on the screen through our platforms, which is available for free download and for you to retain. You will need to download the Gateway to Arabic Book 1, which is available online for free. However, we are not the publishers of that, so we cannot give you access to that directly through our platforms. But please do download it as you will need that book to complete the rest of this course. The first thing we'll do is go through the material that we have published, and in this you will go through 4 Arabic letters. So starting with Hamzatul Qata, which is like an alif a sound and you can hear like that cutting sound up from the throat that comes from the throat. Then you have the letter ba, the letter da, and the letter sa. We're going to go through how these letters are pronounced and what part of our mouth, throat, or tongue we're going to be using when we say these letters. We'll go and look at the Gateway to Arabic book and see how we can begin to recognize the letters and write them, inshallah. The first letter, which is a letter alif, so you've got an alif and a hamza together. So together this makes hamzatul qata, and this is a sound a. Now you may see, just to explain, you may see in the Quran just an alif on its own and or a hamza on its own. And we'll explain the rulings as we go along through this course. The first thing we're going to go through is the sound, the hamza sound. It comes from the further part of our throat. So right at the bottom of your throat, where that slight dip is, that's where the letter hamza or the sound of hamza comes. And in Arabic, we call that aqsa al-halaq. The sound is not restricted to the middle of the top of the throat, so it should come out quite nicely and fairly easy. So you are going to see or hear the letter flow out. It should say, it should sound like not or ah, not because if I say it's coming from the top part of the throat. If I say it's coming from the middle. So I want it to come from the further part. I want it to come out flowing and easy. E, O, E, O, not R. Don't make it too strong. So it's E, O, E, O. So we don't stretch it. E, O, E, O. Now it sounds sometimes like two people who are new to the language, like I'm saying R, R. It's not R, R, R. It's E, O. But because it's said quite quickly, sometimes you can miss it. So it's not R. It's not strong letter. It's a light letter. The next letter we're going to go through is the letter Ba. For this letter, you should bring your lips together and close them tightly, tighter than the letter Meme. Now, the letter Meme is a letter that we're going to cover later on. However, both of these letters are said from the lips. Now, the letter Ba, we want to bring our lips closer together, and we're going to say the letter by pressing or bringing the lips together in a tighter and a stronger way or a manner. So ba, ba. Okay, bring your lips together and press slightly ba, be, bo. And again, this is also a light letter, so you don't want to say ba, be, bo. It's ba, be, bo. The next letter is the da, and the da letter comes from the tip of your tongue, as indicated by this arrow. The tip of your tongue is going to be placed at the back of your top incisors, so the top 2 teeth. That's where your tongue is going to be placed. Now, the meeting point of the gum line and the teeth is exactly where you want to be placing the tip of your tongue, and they are indicated, these areas are indicated by our arrows. So you don't want to be raising your tongue. You don't want to be touching the middle part of the tongue to the roof of your mouth, because you will start to make the letter stronger than it needs to be. So keeping the tongue nice and straight, use the tip of the tongue, place that behind your top incisors where the gum line is the meeting line of the gum line with the teeth, and say te ti tu, te. Don't say thaw, and don't press or join the middle part to the roof of the mouth. The last letter that we're going to cover is the. The third letter is basically as shown in this image, where I'm going to stick the tip of my tongue out between the top and bottom incisors. So basically I am catching the tip of my tongue between the top and the bottom incisors, so the top and the bottom teeth. I don't want to bite it vigorously or tightly. So vigorously means I don't want to bite my tongue quite tight. I want to keep it light. I want to keep my teeth lightly pressed against the tip of my tongue. And I'm going to say the letter th. Th, thu. There, the, thu. Keep the tongue nice and straight, please. Th, thu. If you begin to raise your tongue and set here, you will start to make the letter heavy. Okay, so do not raise it. Okay, so the part of tongue should not, no part of the tongue should be raised up. Okay, and it should be left in a neutral or a natural position, inshallah. So fair thisu, don't say far thisu, but again you're making it too heavy. That's the end of our course, alhamdulillah. So the next letters that we will cover are these, and we will do them inshallah another time. We're now going to move on to our Arabic book, Arabic Medina book, or Arabic Gateway to Arabic book. For this book, what we're going to do is now look at the four letters that we've just looked at, how to pronounce. We're going to look at how to write them now. So we're going to get our pen out. So if you are doing it online, you can use your annotation if you are doing it through Zoom. And if you do have a printed copy, then obviously you can write in it using a pencil or a pen. The first thing we're going to do is going to look at this image here. So basically it's telling us how to write alif, which is this long line here, alif. So I'm just going to make a line across the page, okay, on the first line. And then I'm going to insert my hamza. So this is alif. So one straight line is alif. And then I'm going to place my hamza at the top. And that is an a sound, okay? Or hamza qata. So you can practice this inshallah in your time. Let's just rub this out. Go to our next letter. So that was the first letter we looked at, alif, and we just looked at the sound of hamza. Hamza and alif come from the same sort of letter. Alif is more, when we look at alif on its own, we will go through the sound of alif, but it's usually very similar sound to the hamza. Hamza's further apart from the further part of the throat, but alif is like a hollow space. The sound comes from a hollow space for the sound of alif. And then I'm just going to make a dot at the bottom. So basically what I've done is I followed the image. So it's indicating by the arrow. So let's do it slower. So the first number one, take it from half the page, and there is slight tracing available on the first line. So take the first arrow, go for the second arrow, go all along this line here. And then for the third, number three, the arrow, you see the arrow for number three, it goes all the way back up. And then number four is where that little dot is. So you could do a diamond, or you could just do a little circle like I'm going to do. And that's the letter ba, which comes from the lips. Remember we said bringing your lips together to say the letter ba, 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 and not making it too strong. So let's quickly move on to the next letter. Which one we're going to do is maneuver that. So the next letter, if you remember, it is ta, 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 ta. Now for the ta, it's the same thing. So arrow number one down, arrow number two across like a boat, arrow number three bringing it back up, and there is your ta. Now it can look like a ba, but as soon as we add our dots at the top here, two dots, it makes it like a ta or a ta, 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 ta. Okay, now remember what our next letter was. Does anybody remember the next letter? It was where we bring our tongue and bite the tip of the tongue or catch the tip of the tongue between our top and bottom incisors. So for this letter, I'm going to follow the arrows again. So number 1, down, number 2, across, number 3, up again, and number 4, now we have 3 dots at the top. So ba has 1 dot at the bottom of the letter. Ta has 2 dots at the top, and tha has 3 dots at the top. Tha, tha, tha. So at this point, what you should do is try and memorize, keep writing these letters so you understand the difference between the ba, ta, and tha. Jazakallah khair. Thank you for going through this lesson number 1 with us. I hope you've enjoyed the session and I hope you understood it. Please do practice reading and writing alif, ba, ta, and tha. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.